I don't think you need me to tell you where I am. Just have one look at this. How impressive is that? We've come down to Ditchit to find out about the Paul Nicolls Cheltenham Hopefuls. Bravemansgame. I've always said, second half of the year, he never looks the same horse. But looking at him this morning, I don't know what you've done to him, but his condition, he's maintained it.
A different class horse this year to everything. It just took all this time to physically mature. And again, we've learned how to train him. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, I always say that, and you're always learning and look back and think sometimes you made mistakes. And I think perhaps last year, the horses weren't that great. Although we had a load of winners, I was never happy with them last year. And they all looked light and didn't look great. We changed the feed this year, and we're now feeding Red Mills, which seems to suit what we do. And it's trying to find something that suits how you train the horses. Yeah. And they all look better this year. They're all running better, and we're delighted with that. But him in particular, he does look fantastic at the moment. And that's why I've missed a race. I didn't need to run him in the spring. I didn't need to prove anything. And to run him would have been the worst thing we could have done. He's better off after having lots of work, very fit and very fresh, and big and strong like he is now, so we're chuffed with him.
Yeah, you've got him in a good place. Yeah. Like Scott said, he's in great form this morning.
He's been working nicely. He had a little school this morning, and you know, just to keep his eye on something different. He loves doing that, and you saw how good he was. And the most important thing is he looks well, and he's doing a lot of work now as well. So we'll be going into the race. I'm not going to take him away for gallop. He doesn't need galloping. Get him very fit at home without an away day. He didn't have an away day before Kempton or the Charlie Hall. You can get him fit at home if you do the right thing with him. And just lots of solid, hard graft, and he thrives on it at the moment.
But he looked like the form of the King George, like that day, that must have meant a lot to you to win that race and win as impressively as he did.
Yeah, because it was a good King George, good horses in it, and he had to dig deep and stay on strong. What I liked about him, even though he got interfered with most of the way around, didn't have a clear passage. He turned in the straight.
It wasn't smooth.
No. And I was thinking down the back, come on, Harry, switch sides. But I can get what he was saying. It was hard to do that when you're galloping. It's not like you're in a car, you can drop and change. You know, he was stuck there, and he just stayed there, turned in the straight, and he came hard on the bridle jump in the second last, and then dug deep when he needed to and galloped all the way through the line. And, you know, you have to stay to win at Kempton, you know, because they go good, relentless gallop all the way through. And, you know, he was good. So, you know, delighted with that, yeah.
And when you've trained as many Gold Cup winners as you have, you know what it takes. Has this horse got what it takes?
I'm sure he has. I mean, there's a doubt because he's never won over 3 mile 2, but before Courtois went there was a doubt whether.
Yeah.
And he's not unlike Courtois. I'm not comparing with ability-wise, but he's got plenty of boot like Courtois. He's not like Denman, who was an out-and-out
grinder.
Yeah, he's got plenty of boot. You can sit where you like. He'll travel really nicely, travel down that hill, which is what you want in Cheltenham these days. You don't want to be behind the bridle coming down the hill, and then it just then depends what happens over the last 2 up to the winning line, whether you're A, good enough, and whether you stay on strong. I think he is. I think he's the best chaser in that division in this country. Obviously, Galloping Champ is the best in Ireland, and it'll be an interesting race. And there's obviously very, very good horses in the mix of the race that will run very well. But I think we've got a fantastic chance.
The novices, like you said about building a team, well, you seem to have assembled quietly quite a strong team for some of the novices. I think probably headed by Hermes Allen.
Yeah, Hermes Allen obviously runs in the Ballymore. He's been, you know, revelation really this season. We weren't sure to start with what we had, and he won well at Stratford, he won well at Cheltenham, then he won the Grade 1 Shallow on ground, which I think was too soft for him, but he still won nicely, showed his class, and the form's worked out from everything behind him, where they were placed and pulled up, have all run well. So that looks a good run. You saw him schooling this morning, looks in great nick. So it's an exciting young horse. So yeah, you know, if he's progressive, he's obviously got a great chance.
But is he one, like again, that surprised you as time's gone on? Like sometimes those sort of horses are better.
Yeah, they often are. He didn't show anything in the spring, and I was worried to death before we ran him at Stratford, because I had literally no idea what we had. He was slow working at home, didn't really impress anybody. And he won like as far as he wanted really. And then he suddenly copped himself on a bit and started working better, and he realised, and it just shows how immature he was. I mean, you know, he'd won his point-to-point in Ireland, but I guess he didn't know too much, and it was just pure ability, won the race, and he's just getting his act together now, and yeah, he's a very good horse, and often they are the best horses that, you know, keep a bit for, well, not keep themselves, they've just got that ability to keep galloping and race. What you don't need flashy horses at home that don't finish. He finishes strong, so yeah, excited.
Tahmuras, I saw him at Chepstow, and I thought, oh, he's a nice horse, but actually he's got better and better.
Yeah, I mean, he was quite keen and backward and weak last year. He was second and first in his 2 bumper runs, one at Wincanada. But never thought I'd be dreaming about a Supreme Novice Hurdle horse. It just shows how much they can improve during the summer. And at Chepstow, first time, he was very, very good. He made all bases in from the back of the last, he quick and clear. And I just said to Nolan, I'll tell you where we're going next. We'll go to that listed race at Aintree, at Haydock. That'll suit him nicely. And of course, he went there and a little bit behind the bridle early on, turned them straight and hosed in. And he was good again. And he kept surprising us. I said to Noel, come on, let's go for the Tolworth wood and keep him right for that. Ground will probably be too soft because I don't think he wants heavy ground, but let's give it a go. And he went there and he won nicely. And despite the conditions, because I don't think he wants that ground. So here we are going to the, you know, Supreme. And if you remember back when I had Nolan and also Alfroth, they were staying chasers of the future. They weren't champion hurdle horses, which he is. He's going to be a staying chaser. But they had the ability to stay on strong and win a Supreme. And he's not unlike those two. So hopeful of a very nice run. You know, he's jumping. He jumps better on better ground, that's for sure. He scored nice this morning. He'll have a few more practices. But yeah, he's an exciting young horse.
Stage Star is a horse that I had my doubts about, but watching him the last day, he dispelled all those doubts.
Well, he's a Grade 1 winner, won the Challow as well the year before. He wasn't right last spring like a lot of ours and came good first time at Warwick, won nicely. Didn't perform particularly well at Newbury, but I think in that November meeting the ground was too quick for him, he didn't enjoy it. Had a few little issues since then, and then he went to Plumpton and won nicely, jumped well, and he won very well, very impressively at Cheltenham the other day. Now, you know, the novice chase, depending on which one we run him in, they're looking very, very hot, you know. But
do you have a
the Turners is
preference?
probably the favourite if the ground was on the slow side. But if we kept on getting this dry weather and the ground was good to soft, we might consider the Brown Advisory, because I've got no question about him staying 3 miles if the ground's decent. So we'll keep our options open. But you know, look, they look good divisions. They're going to be hard races to win. But he's earned his place.
Well, watching him schooling this morning, he's spring-heeled. Like, he's got plenty of scope.
He's got plenty of scope, and he's an improving horse. I think there's still more to come. I think he'd be a better horse again with another summer. You know, I might be wrong, but I'd like to think this time next year we might be looking at horse. We're sort of aiming towards the Ryanair. And so there's more to come. Whatever we've got this year, I'm sure there's more to come. But yeah, he's a lovely horse to be running at Cheltenham.
Stay Away Faye is a horse that I thought was a little unlucky. I kept thinking he was going to win at Doncaster, but it just didn't happen for him.
No, I think the ground was a bit tight for him. Lorcan would probably admit it wasn't his finest hour. It just didn't happen how we thought it was going to happen. I think he needs plenty of room to allow him to gallop and jump. Got in behind on the inside and then got in a battle all the way at the straight. Never jumped the last for Hurdle and still stayed on. Finished second. He got a mark off that of 136, which means he's going upwards. He probably wants to be better than that to win it. But I think there's more to come from him. I don't think there's too much between him and Hermes Allen, except he hasn't had the chance to put those runs together. Like, he won his point-to-point in Ireland. The horse he beat in his point-to-point in Ireland beat the favourite for the Albert Bart the other day and is now 6-1. I forget the names of them, but that form's good. And he won at Newbury well. Probably should have won it Doncaster, but that's inexperience. You know, he's probably done in the world.
Learn from it.
Learn from it. And so we're going to run in the Albert Bartlett, and he's you know, he's probably what 25-1 to beat, sort of lively each way outside for people. I think he'll run okay.
Grenadine, were you disappointed at Newbury?
Yeah, I was in some ways. But then I look back, he ran exactly the same 2 years ago, funny enough, and probably in a lesser race. And then ran in the jumping chase and was only beaten a couple of lengths. I wouldn't go back to Newbury with him again. I don't think the track suited him. I think the ground was too quick for him. He was a bit fresh and he ran into the fences down the back. It would never really happen. And I actually thought, jumping the second last, he might finish last of the four, and he actually picked up and stayed on strong, so it suggested he probably needed the run. Now, when he ran in the Hall and Gold Cup, he was ready for his life. He'd had an away day, that was his day, and he won. Newbury wasn't his day. You know, we got 2 targets down the line, Champion Chase, and obviously the Celebration Chase, and I might have been too easy on him. Hence, he was too fresh, needed the run, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Look, I'm not going to Cheltenham thinking he's win a Champion Chase, but he's a sort of horse who, as before, could run very well. A bit of ease in the ground, go a good gallop, and they'll have to stay around there, you know, so I think he'll put that run behind him.
And Hitman, will you run him?
He'll run in the Ryanair, yeah. I mean, I think we worked out the other day 3 miles was a little bit far for him. He ran okay at Newbury. The ground's probably quick enough for him. But I think no one's going to be beating Shiskin. My view is Shiskin will win. I mean, that was a very impressive performance the other day. You know what I think of Pictori?
Yeah.
I think Pictori ran a career best, but wasn't good enough to get near him. I think Shiskin will win. But Hitman might just run into a place. He's a nice horse, he's consistent. He's always second or third, jumps well. So, yeah, he'll run in that.
And if you're not in, you can't win.
No, exactly. And he's one of those horses that one day will drop in and surprise everyone and win a nice race.
And how difficult is it to try and get the best horses now? Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, the best horses are all trained in Ireland. Is it a case of finding them before the Irish lads do, or what?
Yeah, it is hard, you know, and luck does play its part, and obviously, and you know, if you go to the sales, you've got to play plenty for them. Look at what Stay Away Fay and Hermes Allen cost, you know, and Bravemansgame. They're all over 300 grand, but they're all good horses. Don't all work out like that. But you know, obviously, with all the Irish point-to-points, such a quality of horses now going point-to-pointer, the Irish lads have got a bit of advantage because they're on the doorstep and they obviously hear what's going on. So it's harder to buy them, and the same in France. But you just got to get your head stuck in and have people scouting for you, working for you. Tom does a lot of groundwork in Ireland, and also, you know, buy some nice stores. That's the way, you know, because anybody, you know, obviously
you've done well with a few of them now.
I mean, every year now we buy 15 to 20 really nice 3-year-olds, and we got some beautiful horses coming through. I mean, this year I think we've had 14 individual bumper winners. Some lovely horses like In the Waterside, Thames Water, Isaac Desabeau. I go on and on, you know, Wrapped Up in May, Captain T. They're all horses that are going to be the future. And I think that the horses that just turned 4 that we bought last year is as nice a lot I've ever bought. So we'll go back again this year and buy another dozen or so, and then just bring them. We'll bid it with them for a year. Give them lots of time. So I try not to run them over hurdles at 4/5, 2 or 3 bumper runs, and then be ready to go novice hurdling when they're 5, novice chasing when they're 6. They've had some time, and then hopefully we're going to produce some nice horses. And we love doing that. That works really well. So that's one avenue to go down. Anybody can do that. Anybody can go and buy the stores. You know, and a lot of it is luck if you pick across a good one or two, but that's a nice way to do it.
And as well, you're thinking long term, aren't you? You're not just thinking of the quick fix. You're thinking of, like, down the line, I want to be competing in 3, 4, 5 years' time.
Yeah, and you know, owners have got to know that. So you've got to sell them to the right people, and they've got to know that the first year really they're in that pre-training year, they're learning their job, and then we'll run in a couple of bumpers, but with the aim to have some really nice chasers. And I mean, next year, just for example, Henry II, for example, is going to go chasing. What a prospect he is, and we've got some lovely horses going through for that, and the bumper winners used to go hurdling. So you need that line that's continuously going forward.
Paul, this is like Millionaires Row up here with all the, like, Seymour Business, Big Bucks, Masterminded, Clandis Oboe, Zerti Oop. Like, this is...
Cordo Star, of course. Yeah. Well, amazing. You can remember Seymour Business, can't you?
It's, well, when you think about it now, it's 24 years ago when it all started for you.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Yeah. No Cheltenham winners, and had 3 in a week, wasn't it? It was a flagship Uberalis.
He was the start of it.
You rode him, of course, in the Champion Chase, and then Seymour Business in the Gold Cup. Yeah. Fantastic days.
But there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but I think it's fairly safe to say that the fire still burns fairly bright in you.
Oh yeah, I probably love it as much, if not more now than ever before. And you know, it's nice that we're building up some nice string of horses again. Since all those good ones, we've had some great horses along the way. Clandis Oboe, Silvanaco Conti and that. But we just missed building up a young team, but we're just getting there again now. And you know, just another thing we've been doing, buying a lot of nice stalls and point-to-pointers and a bit of patience. We're getting into having a lovely string of horses again.
But does that mean that when you do find one, that it means more? Because, like, for a while, you were like the king. Like, when you think Denman, Courtauld, Star, like, every year you were going there with a favourite for the Gold Cup.
Yeah, and it was astonishing those years, you know, 2006 through to 2010, with all those, and not just Gold Cup, you know, Mastermind and Champion Chase, Big Bucks, World Hurdle, Celestial Halo. Amazing team of horses that one time. You know, those horses that were in this yard were incredible, and incredibly lucky to have had those. And I always thought when they retired that we were going to struggle, and I thought, well, you've had your time, you've had your good horses, just enjoy the rest of it. But you know, you've always got that ambition to win another Gold Cup or win some more good races, which is what keeps us going. And you know, we've won some fantastic races since then, and but it's just nice here to go back thinking we've got a real chance at a Gold Cup.
You've never been afraid to back your own judgment, and Il Ridotto, I think, was case in point.
Yeah, he was frustrating all through. He looked like winning all, you know, the 2 or 3 big races he ran in, the Paddy Power Gold Cup and the race at Christmas. He travelled like the winner. Went down to the last. I think he's going to win the last and win. And
missed it.
He missed it twice in one. I don't think he was concentrating, you know, Mick, and it cost him the race. So cheek pieces on, sharpened him up, and the other day, look at him, he made all the running basically, jumped well and stayed on really strong. So he had been kidding us a little bit. But again, he's only a young horse. He's only just turned 6. I think there's more to come from him. Again, he could end up with a horse that could be aimed at a Ryanair in a year's time if he improves enough. But with age, he might well do. So hopefully he'll run very. I think he won't have £8 for that. Yeah, could have done without that probably. But look, he'll run a nice race again. He seems to like that track, so we're looking forward to running him.
A horse that we saw winning of Sir Martin Broughton's, that looked pretty impressive.
Irish Hill, he just kept on going forward, and he went up £6 for Saturday, which is acceptable. He's in the Coral Cup and the Martin Pipe, and we'll just see near the time which race he gets in. Well, he'll definitely get in the Martin Pipe. Coral Cup might be tricky, we'll just see. But progressive young horse, and he'll go straight to Cheltenham now.
Affodil.
Yeah, Affodil was a bit frustrating on Saturday. I kicked myself a run in now. He was rated 124. If we're going to run in the Boodles, I had to get a third run, and the sooner I got a third run in to give him some time before Cheltenham, the better. And if I'd waited for the Adonis, I only had 2 weeks left. So I thought I will go to Hayder. Whatever happens, he's going to qualify for the Boodles. So now I've got to get him back to his best. He's a very smart horse, but do you know what? I actually think he's going to be like Irish Hill. Irish Hill was okay last spring as a 4-year-old, just come off the flat, good summer, progression at where he is now. And I think Affodil's going to do the same. I really like him. He's shown plenty, but will probably be next year's horse. But we got to decide whether we run him in the Boodles, whether I think I've got him back in time to go there, or we wait for someone a bit later down the line.
And what about some of the other handicaps? Like, they're competitive, but you've got horses that will be competitive in them.
Yeah, you know, 300 through 5 will
go for the Ultima.
Ultima, but he's 150. I think he's far too high. I was a bit disappointed he only got dropped £1 for getting beat so far at Warwick. He's probably in my book a 145 horse, so 150 makes it hard in that race. But he's tough, genuine horses. Won at Cheltenham, so he'll run quite tidy. Time White's in the
Grand Annual.
Goes well fresh, so we purposely kept him very
strong
fresh.
traveller as well. You need that.
You need that. He jumps well, so you know he's possible to go quite nicely in that. Red Russ will also run in the Coral Cup. Of course, he's
beating
been
the Whisker.
Yeah, Freddie will probably ride him and take 7 off again. And Hacker the Plasters, who won on trials day, could end up running in the County Hurdle. I put him in the Martin Pipe as well, just to give us options.
Well, Angus as well, you know, he rides him all the time, and I suppose if he's in that race, you get a bit of a steal. Yeah, and he'll take 5 off if, as well. He is in at Kelso in the Moor Battle before, but he's the sort of horse who could actually probably do both. So he's quite interesting. I think we've got quite a nice horse in the Fox Hunters. They don't call it Fox Hunters anymore, but I will see it as a Fox Hunters. What's that, Secret Investor?
He's owned by Clive Hitchens, and we've been, rode point to point, and massive supporter point to point in the Hunter Chase, and at a level over the years. I've always wanted a runner in the Fox Hunters. Now, Secret Investors had a few problems, and we had to qualify him by getting first to second 2 runs, and he's done that. So he'll go and run in that race. And if the ground's decent, he's got an outside chance. He's nowhere near the horse he was in the past, but he'll give him a good run. So it's good on Clive wanting to do it.
for you, going to Cheltenham, you want a winner, don't you?
Of course you want a winner. It's, you know, it's a lot of pressure building up all the year. I've got, you know, it used to be in my mind everything was all about Cheltenham, but I've got over that now and realised there's a lot more than Cheltenham. You've got to have the right horses in the right races, and
No point having social runners.
it's not. It's hard to win there, you know. So very, very hard to win there. So you've got to be selective what you run and pick the right races.
Champion trainer, how many times?
13 up, you know, yeah, incredible, really.
It still means an awful lot to you, though.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Love the game. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to do anything else. And
Yeah.
you know, and like with the experience Clifford and I have got now, we're probably, in fact, should know as much as we can and get the best out of everything. You know, we've got great facility here in Ditchit, great knowledge now, and it all gels together with a great team of people around you. Yeah, no, I love it. I just, you know, I wouldn't want to. Don't know how long we can carry on. As long as we're fit and healthy, we'll keep going. I love it, and you know, hopefully there's another gold couple on the way somewhere. I'd love to do that.